Well. Good afternoon, West Ham fans. Russ from the West Ham Network. Hope you're safe and well. In a few short hours, we'll be kicking off against Sheffield United at London Stadium. It's the things that dreams are made of, isn't it? Really. According to David Moyes, we should have pretty much a clean bill of health for our squad, particularly as half of the Premier League team, so to speak, didn't even travel to Lincoln City. So the likes of Paqueta and Bowen and Areola and Zuma didn't even bother. And we still beat the mighty Lincoln 1-0 in the third round of the Carabao Cup. Now, as we do a couple of hours before kickoff, we try and put our predicted 11 together, which I think is probably the most foregone conclusion predicted 11 I think I'm going to do all season, in all honesty. Bar maybe I'll just throw in a curveball just to be controversial. But let's crack on. So as always, I'll give you sort of what I would like and what I think is going to happen at the same time, if that makes sense. As I said, we play Sheffield United, who have just lost 8-0. Well, the last game, they've lost 8-0 to Newcastle at Bramall Lane. So they're going to come out all guns blazing, aren't they? In all honesty. And yes, I know they just lost 8-0, but sometimes a wounded lion is the most dangerous. I don't know. I think I've actually lost it. Right, so let's crack on. I think it's going to be a simple one today, I'll be honest. In goal for me, Areola. Fabianski probably should have been man of the match, maybe if not very close to being man of the match for the Lincoln game. Obviously, first clean sheet this season, although it was a League One side, so therefore hardly surprising in all honesty. But some really good saves, particularly it was like a one-handed save he did in the second half, I want to say, which was fantastic. With the highlights we did see, of course, being not on the telly, but on the West Ham YouTube channel. So do you know what? I know people want to go for an expansive game, but I don't think it's going to happen. I genuinely don't think it's going to happen. The only, not fly in the ointment, but the only caveat could be the fact that Tommy Souček played 90 minutes on Wednesday. And you think, is that, because he could have taken off Souček and brought on a sub, but he took off Fornals and brought on a sub. So, but Tommy Souček's, he's a fit lad. So he probably will play. But anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. Back four, simple. I think at the moment it's Emerson on the left-hand side. It's his jersey to lose. Do you know what I mean? We were having this conversation about Ben Johnson the other day, me and Anton, and saying how, Anton feels sorry the fact that he's always been sort of the nearly man. So he played right back for a little bit, and then he played left back for a little bit. And the trouble is, when he's on Wednesday, a number of players were presented with an opportunity to start, and a lot of them played 90 minutes, but none of them really took it. Do you know what I mean? Ben Johnson could have said, do you know what? He actually didn't play too bad, Ben. I thought crossing was pretty poor, but I didn't think he played too bad. But, for me, it's like, I know Emerson's number one, but I could be the number two left back. You don't need Aaron Cresswell. You could be me. But he didn't go above and beyond. Same as Fornals, didn't go above and beyond. I wouldn't, based on his performance on Wednesday, I wouldn't put Fornals in the side. It's not. I don't love the guy. I love the guy as a man. I think he's a lovely fella, but he hasn't done enough on the pitch, I think, to upset the apple cart, so to speak, in terms of what is currently our midfield at the moment. But anyway, so Emerson's left back. Right, let's go centre halves. Now, I know there's a call for Aguerd to be dropped with Mavropanos coming, in his place. I don't think that's going to happen. And I'll tell you for why. Because Mavropanos is predominantly a right-footed player. And we know, Zuma apparently played left side when he was at Chelsea in his early career. But, you always want someone on the dominant foot. And I think Aguerd's had a couple of crap games recently. And I think we've had a couple of crap games recently, but we know what he brings. He's a progressive defender. He brings the ball forward. He likes a pass. Him alongside Zuma work well because they're sort of opposites attract. So Zuma's very much a bit like the old school. We know Zuma's going to be nailed on because he's basically the captain. So the chances are You know, you don't necessarily, if you're going to bring in Mavropanos, you wouldn't bring him in for Zuma because unless he's injured. So that's the situation we're in at the moment. Now, obviously, we've been linked with left-sided centre halves like Miko Matlavenko from Shakhtar Donetsk and various others. So maybe that might change. But again, I don't think Agbona's. He had a better game again on Wednesday, but would I drop again for Agbona to come in? No, I wouldn't. Particularly as we'll be going back. We're still in this sort of 2-game weeks, so obviously we'll have the Europa League coming soon as well. Now on the right side is going to be an interesting one. Obviously, the fact. It's going to be Soufal. Why am I even bothering? It's going to be Soufal, and the reason why it's going to be Soufal is he didn't even bother. No, was he on the bench? Was he on the bench? Let me have a check. Was he on the bench? I don't know if he was. I think he was on the bench, actually. So if that was the case, then maybe. But again, Tilo Kehrer played the full 90 minutes on Wednesday, I believe. So again, he's the only. That's the only one of the only fly in the ointment type. Would you drop Soufal and bring in Kehrer? I don't think I would at the moment. See if I was on the bench. Yeah, he was on the bench. He didn't come on. Obviously, Fornals and Cornet was subbed for Devine and Edson 66 minutes. So I don't think it's going to be. So I think it's going to keep the same. I need to arrange that to the top because it's not level, and people will say it's not. It's all a bit wonky. So let me just okay, it's not wonky now. And I think that's your back four, really. As I said, the only potential change at the moment, that Mavropanos hasn't put a foot wrong, but he'll play the next European game and stuff like that. And we know that Zuma's going to get an injury soon. There is the option to go to 3 at the back, but will Moyes completely change that for the Sheffield United game? If he was going to change it, I think he would have changed it for the Liverpool game or the City, because it's slightly more defensive minded. And if that's the case, if he does play 3 at the back, then I'd say Tilo Kehrer comes in instead of Soufal, because I think Soufal's a better right back than Tilo Kehrer. But I think Tilo Kehrer is a better right wing back than Soufal. Just my personal opinion. I have no grounds of why, but that's just my assumption. So then he's going to play this weird thing like he always does at the moment. So he'll put in Edson Alvarez. He'll be there. Sort of that holding, almost playing as a sweeper sometimes. They sort of do play 3 at the back, really, because Emerson goes so high up the pitch. A lot of the time he's in the box, almost like a striker or a left wing. And Edson almost drops into that. And you'll see him, if you watch him play on Saturday, he'll drop into that almost as a 3, like very deep. And I quite like that because what I like about him as well is he doesn't always go for the simple option, doesn't always go for the hoof. He might drag the ball back and then look for a pass rather than necessarily just be a blocker. And I really like it. I think he's a very good player for us. And again, that goes against the grain. Where someone like JWP's come in and hit the ground running, being a Premier League ready player, that hasn't happened with Edson. Edson's come in with no Premier League experience and hit the ground running. And I wouldn't say you've noticed that he hasn't played in the Premier League before. He's taken it to a duck to water. So he'll play the weird thing again where he'll play Paqueta on the left-hand side, which isn't really left-hand side. He's more central, and Emerson basically is the overlap. We almost do play. I'll put it up and then I'll play. I'll show how we play pretty much during this game anyway. JWP comes in. He was rested for the Lincoln game. Obviously on fire. Tommy Souček probably comes in and keeps his place. You've got Bowen and you've got the podcaster playing up front. So, so for me, and again, I'm going to have to set this up because it's going to really annoy me. My OCD is going to kick in. And then we just put it on the top and then just distribute that vertical. Where is it? There we go. So that to me is the side we're starting with. Let's put Edson. So it's a bit. that's the side on paper, but we know what happens. It tends to happen that's this will happen, and he'll drop in like there. He'll sort of sit like here. He'll be all over the bloody place like this. He'll end up being up there. He'll tend to drop down a little bit like that. He'll push up a little bit. He'll push up there, and that's how it tends to look by the end. It's very, 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 very tailored towards that. And then Sufal tends to overlap with Bowen. So that's how it happens. Although it's a 4, Paqueta doesn't stay on the left. As you tell, he's more like this, isn't he? Let's be honest, he's more like this. Where is he? Like that. That's how it sort of works, really. You end up having a 3 in midfield there, and then Bowen sort of does that. Emerson's like up there. Emerson's there. Emerson's there. He's there. He's bloody everywhere. I love the man. And Sufal, so he almost play like a 4-5-2, really, or 3-5-2 rather. 4-5-2, impressive. Put another play on the pitch, might win. Now, obviously, there's a call to play Kudus. I think if Kudus does play, for me, we revert back to the 4-2-3-1, which is, again, I'm not going to do it particularly smart, but it will be this, and then this, him off, and then Kudus. I mean, the position is, left side's not his position. We know that, but I mean, to be fair, he could do this. He could do that, couldn't he? He's done it before. He puts Paqueta on the left all the time. Obviously, Kudus played that 10 role against Lincoln. Had a fair game. Lost the ball quite a lot. I think he had 8 crosses and none of them were successful. So yeah, and I can't see, despite the fact for calls for Dinos to come in at the moment, I just don't think he upsets the apple cart at the moment in terms of that sort of central defensive partnership. I guess, granted, again, has not been playing well the last couple of games, but I wouldn't say, but I think I think he's been unlucky at the moment. The luck's not been with him. At the end of the day, against Liverpool, if the ball hadn't got through to Salah, he wouldn't have given away the penalty. If it wasn't deflected into Salah's path, he wouldn't have given away the penalty. I think Nunez's goal was Zuma's fault because Zuma wasn't, because again was looking there and Nunez ran behind him. And I think the last goal wasn't actually, again was nowhere near it, but it was Sufal not chasing down Jota, not closing him down quick enough. So yes, he had the Man City one where he misjudged the ball, but they've how many mistakes has Antonio made, and he'll still start, won't he? So that's my. Do you know what? I'm going to go with it. Let's just go with this. Fuck it. It's not going to be right. We know it's not going to be right. We know he's going to play 4-1-4-1 with Paqueta on the left. But you think I would love us to have a bit more attack. Just go for it against United, against Sheffield United, because they'll be hurting. And if you go out the blocks hard, don't let them settle into the game, they might crumble again like they did on Sunday. So who knows? Let me know in the comments below what your 11 is. It's probably very similar to mine, I'll be honest. I don't see a place for Ben Rama. I think he had a poor game. Cornet had a very poor game against Lincoln City, according to our roving reporter, John Ratomski. And so did Benny. Didn't have a very good game at all. So they're not pushing for a starting spot. So they'll come on 20 minutes to go, and if we need them, type thing. If you're new around here, thanks for joining us. Give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a subscribe. But let us know in the comments what you think the 11 is going to be, and we'll see who's right and who's wrong. Probably us. We usually are wrong. But until then, take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith. Come on, you bloody irons, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye.